First contact. The vast emptiness of space stretched out before the Galactic Council observation post Zeta 9. Located on the outermost fringes of Council space, it was typically a quiet assignment. But today was different. Commander Vexera, you need to see this. The voice of Lieutenant Krasil broke the silence on the command deck. Commander Vexera, a tall, slender being with iridescent scales, glided over to Krasil's station. What is it, Lieutenant? Our long-range sensors have picked up an anomaly. It's massive. Vexera's four eyes widened as she studied the readout. The object was indeed enormous, easily dwarfing any ship in the Council's fleet. But more alarmingly, it had appeared out of nowhere. How is this possible? Vexera muttered. Run a full spectrum analysis. I want to know everything about this object. As the station's sensors probed the mysterious vessel, tension grew on the command deck. Minutes stretched into hours, and still, the ship made no move. Analysis complete, Commander, Krasil reported. It's a ship, but unlike anything we've ever encountered. The energy readings are off the charts. Its hull composition is unknown to our database. Vexera's tendrils twitched nervously. Open a channel. All frequencies. Krasil complied, and Vexera took a deep breath before speaking. Unknown vessel. This is Commander Vexera of the Galactic Council Observation, Post Zeta 9. You have entered Council space. Please identify yourself and state your intentions. They waited. Seconds turned to minutes, but no response came. Try again, Vexera ordered, her voice tight with tension. Krasil repeated the message, this time in various frequencies and encoding patterns. Still, silence reigned. Commander, another officer called out. I'm detecting movement. The ship is. It's changing configuration. On the main view screen, they watched in awe as sections of the colossal vessel began to shift and realign. What had appeared to be a smooth, featureless hull now bristled with what could only be described as weapon emplacements. By the cosmic egg, Vexera whispered, invoking an ancient Galactic Council oath. Krasil, send an emergency transmission to Council headquarters. Priority Alpha. We may have first contact with a highly advanced, potentially hostile species. As Krasil rushed to compose the message, Vexera couldn't tear her eyes away from the imposing ship on the screen. In all her years of service, she had never felt so small, so insignificant. The Galactic Council had long considered itself the pinnacle of civilization in the known universe. But this changed everything. Message sent, Commander, Krasil reported. But there's something else. I'm detecting energy buildups within the vessel. They're preparing to launch smaller craft. Vexera's scales paled. Defensive positions, all non-essential personnel to the escape pods. We don't know their intentions, but we must be prepared for anything. As the crew scrambled to follow her orders, Vexera watched as sleek, dart-like ships began to emerge from the massive vessel. They moved with a grace that belied their obvious power, forming a protective screen around their mothership. Still no response to our hails, Commander, Krasil said, his voice quavering. Vexera nodded grimly. Keep trying, and pray to whatever gods you believe in that the Council sends help soon. I fear we may need it. As the unknown ships drew closer, Vexera couldn't shake the feeling that the galaxy as they knew it was about to change forever. The Galactic Council had always prided itself on being prepared for any eventuality, but nothing could have prepared them for this. In the following hours, news of the encounter spread like wildfire through Council space. Emergency sessions were called, defense fleets were mobilized, and a palpable sense of fear gripped the various races that made up the Galactic Council. On countless worlds, beings looked to the stars with newfound trepidation. The universe had suddenly become a much larger, much more dangerous place, and at the center of it all was a ship of unknown origin, silent and imposing, waiting at the edge of Council space. The stage was set for a confrontation that would reshape the balance of power in the galaxy. The Galactic Council, long accustomed to being the dominant force in known space, now faced an adversary that challenged everything they thought they knew. As Vexera and her crew maintained their vigil, monitoring every movement of the alien fleet, they couldn't help but wonder. Who were these newcomers? What did they want? And most importantly, what would happen when they finally decided to break their silence? The answers to these questions would come soon enough, and they would shake the foundations of the Galactic Council to its core. Diplomatic tensions. The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council was in uproar. Representatives from 100 different species argued in a cacophony of languages, their translator devices struggling to keep up with the heated exchanges. At the center of it all stood High Counselor Genva, his tentacles waving in agitation as he tried to restore order. Silence. He boomed, his voice amplified by the chamber's acoustics. We must approach this situation with calm and reason. Gradually, the noise died down, and all eyes turned to Genva. The High Counselor took a deep breath before continuing. We have received word from the unknown vessel. They call themselves humans. A murmur rippled through the assembly. They claim to come in peace, Genva continued, but their actions speak of potential hostility. Their ship, which they call the Titan's Fury, remains poised at the edge of our territory, its weapon systems fully powered. Ambassador Krell of the Valaxians, a reptilian race known for their militant stance, rose to speak. High Counselor, we cannot stand idly by while this threat looms over us. We must strike first, show these humans the might of the Galactic Council. Shouts of agreement and dissent filled the chamber once more. No. This time, it was Ambassador Lyra of the Aetheri, a race of energy beings known for their diplomatic prowess. We cannot resort to violence without attempting peaceful communication. These humans have not attacked us. We must try to understand them. As the debate raged on, a message flashed across the chamber's main screen. Genva's eyes widened as he read it. Silence. He called out once more. We are receiving a transmission from the human vessel. They wish to speak with us directly. The chamber fell into a hushed silence as Genva activated the communication link. The screen flickered to life, revealing a face that was both familiar and alien. The being looked somewhat like a Valaxian, but with soft, pink skin and a tuft of dark fur on top of its head. Greetings, representatives of the Galactic Council. The human spoke, its voice deep and resonant. I am Admiral Helena Steele of the Earth Alliance ship Titan's Fury. We come seeking peaceful contact and cultural exchange. Genva stepped forward, his voice steady despite his inner turmoil. Greetings, Admiral Steele. I am High Counselor Genva. Your presence and the nature of your vessel have caused great concern among our people. Can you explain your intentions? Admiral Steele nodded, her expression serious. We understand your concern, High Counselor. The Titan's Fury is indeed a warship, but it serves primarily as a deterrent. Humanity has learned through hard experience that the galaxy can be a dangerous place. We come prepared, but with hopes for peace. Ambassador Krell couldn't contain himself. Prepared. Your ship threatens the very balance of power in this sector. How can we trust that you won't use your superior technology against us? Steele's eyes narrowed slightly. Ambassador, with all due respect, if we wished you harm, we would not be having this conversation. The Titan's Fury could have decimated your observation post and penetrated deep into your territory before you even knew we were here. Instead, we wait, we communicate, we seek understanding. A tense silence fell over the chamber. The humans' words were both reassuring and terrifying. They spoke of peace, yet casually mentioned capabilities that outstripped anything the Council possessed. Lyra of the Aetheri spoke up, her voice a soothing hum. Admiral Steele, we appreciate your openness. Perhaps we could arrange a face-to-face meeting. A chance to truly understand each other's cultures and intentions. Steele smiled, a gesture that seemed both warming and unsettling to the Council members. We would be honored. Ambassador, we suggest a neutral location. Perhaps the observation post where we first made contact. Genva nodded slowly. That seems acceptable. We will send a diplomatic delegation immediately. As the transmission ended, the council chamber erupted into discussion once more. Genva retreated to his private chambers, his mind reeling. The humans' technology, their ship, their very demeanor. It all spoke of a civilization far more advanced than they had initially assumed. In the following days, as preparations for the diplomatic meeting were underway, tensions remained high throughout council space. The Titan's fury maintained its position, a constant reminder of the potential threat it posed. Meanwhile, on board the human vessel, Admiral Steele gazed out at the stars, lost in thought. Her second-in-command, Commander Alexei Volkov, approached. "Admiral, the Council's delegation will arrive at the observation post in 48 hours. Are you sure about this meeting?" Steele's face darkened with anger. "We've never even heard of the Shetkar before this moment, Ambassador. This is not our doing." Before the argument could escalate further, the station shook violently. The Shetkar had opened fire. "We need to evacuate," Genva shouted over the din of alarms and panicked voices. But as they rushed towards the exit, they found their path blocked. A group of armed council security personnel, led by a grim-faced officer, stood in their way. "I'm sorry, High Counselor," the officer said, "but we have orders from the Council Military Command. The humans are to be detained. They're too dangerous to be allowed to leave." Steele's hand went to her side, where a sleek device was holstered. "I wouldn't advise that, officer. We came in peace, but we're more than capable of defending ourselves." As the two groups faced off, the station rocked with another impact. The Shetkar were getting closer. In that moment of confusion, no one noticed Commander Volkov discreetly activating a small device. Seconds later, the lights in the corridor flickered and died. When emergency power came on a few moments later, the humans were gone. "Find them," Krell roared. "They must not be allowed to return to their ship." But it was too late. By the time the Council forces had organized a search, alarms blared once again, this time announcing the launch of an unauthorized shuttle. On the bridge of the Titan's fury, Admiral Steele and her team materialized in a shimmer of energy. "Stealth transporter successful, Admiral," a technician reported. "The Council never even knew we had the capability." Steele's expression was grim as she took her command chair. "Battle stations. It seems we've stumbled into a war zone. Let's show these Shetkar why it's unwise to attack a human vessel." As the Titan's fury moved to engage the Shetkar fleet, the Galactic Council representatives watched in a mix of awe and terror. They had feared the humans as a potential threat. Now, they were about to witness firsthand what that threat could do when provoked. The battle that followed would change the balance of power in the galaxy forever, and in its aftermath, both humans and the Council would be forced to reevaluate everything human ingenuity unveiled. The vacuum of space erupted in a dazzling display of energy weapons and explosions as the Titan's fury engaged the Shetkar fleet. The Council observation post Zeta 9, caught in the crossfire, shuddered under the onslaught. On the station's command deck, Commander Vexera watched in stunned silence as the massive human ship maneuvered with impossible agility for its size. "By the cosmic egg," she whispered, "what are we witnessing?" The Shetkar, known throughout the galaxy for their ruthless efficiency in combat, found themselves outmatched. The Titan's fury's energy shields shrugged off attacks that would have vaporized Council ships, while its weapon systems struck with pinpoint accuracy. In the negotiation chamber, now serving as an impromptu command center, the Council representatives watched the battle unfold on holographic displays. Ambassador Krell's earlier bravado had evaporated, replaced by a mix of fear and grudging admiration. "How?" he muttered. "How can one ship stand against an entire Shetkar battle group?" High Counselor Genva, his tentacles writhing in agitation, turned to the others. "We may have gravely misjudged the humans, their technology, their capabilities. They're beyond anything we've encountered." As they watched, The Titan's fury executed a maneuver that defied the laws of physics as the Council understood them. The massive ship seemed to fold in on itself, disappearing from sensors for a split second before reappearing behind the HFY flagship. "Quantum displacement drive," the voice said from the doorway. They turned to see a human scientist who had been separated from Admiral Steele's group in the chaos. "It allows for short-range teleportation of large masses, useful in combat, as you can see." Before anyone could respond, alarms blared throughout the station. Lieutenant Krasil's voice came over the intercom, panic evident in his tone. "Commander Vexera, the HFY have breached our hull. They're boarding the station." The news sent a wave of terror through the Council representatives. The HFY were known for their brutality in close combat. If they took the station, there would be no mercy. "We need to evacuate," Genva declared. "We cannot fall into HFY hands." But as they rushed to the docking bays, they found their escape pods disabled by HFY sabotage. The sounds of weapon fire and alien war cries grew closer. Just as all seemed lost, their communicators crackled to life. Admiral Steele's voice came through, clear and commanding. "Council representatives, this is Admiral Steele. We've detected your situation. Prepare for emergency teleportation." Steele turned to face him, her expression resolute. "We've come too far to turn back now, Alexei. Humanity has searched the stars for centuries, hoping to find intelligent life. Now that we have, we can't let fear dictate our actions." Volkov nodded, but his concern was evident. "And if they see us as a threat, if they attack, then we'll show them why the Titan's fury bears that name," Steele replied grimly. "But that's a last resort. We're here to build bridges, not burn them. The galaxy is vast, Alexei. There's room enough for all of us, if we can just learn to coexist." As both sides prepared for the historic meeting, the fate of interstellar relations hung in the balance. The Galactic Council, faced with a power they couldn't fully comprehend, grappled with fear and curiosity in equal measure. The humans, for their part, stood on the precipice of a new era, ready to take their place among the stars. The stage was set for an encounter that would either forge a new alliance or ignite a conflict that could reshape the galaxy. And at the center of it all, a ship named Titan's Fury waited, its very presence a testament to humanity's potential for both creation and destruction. Escalation. The observation post Zeta 9, once a quiet outpost on the fringes of Galactic Council space, now bustled with activity. Diplomats from various council races scurried about, making last-minute preparations for the arrival of the human delegation. Commander Vexera, still in charge of the station, felt a mix of anticipation and dread. "Status report," she barked, her scales shimmering with tension. Lieutenant Krasil responded promptly. "The human shuttle is on approach, Commander. ETA 5 minutes. Council security teams are in position, and the negotiation chamber is ready." Vexera nodded, her 4 eyes blinking in sequence. "And the contingency measures?" Krasil lowered his voice. "In place, as ordered by Ambassador Krell. But Commander, is this wise? If the humans detect—" "That's enough, Lieutenant," Vexera cut him off. "We must be prepared for all eventualities. The safety of the Council representatives is our primary concern." As they watched the sleek human shuttle dock with the station, neither of them noticed the small, stealth device that detached from its hull, silently maneuvering to a blind spot in the station's sensor coverage. Inside the negotiation chamber, the atmosphere was tense. High Counselor Genva sat at the head of a long table, flanked by Ambassador Lyra and Ambassador Krell. Other council representatives filled the remaining seats, a diverse array of beings from across the galaxy. The doors slid open, and Admiral Helena Steele entered, accompanied by Commander Volkov and a small team of human diplomats and scientists. The council members couldn't help but stare. Despite their outward similarity to some known species, there was something undeniably alien about the humans. "Welcome aboard Zeta 9, Genva began, his tentacles curling in a formal greeting. "We appreciate your willingness to meet on neutral ground." Steele inclined her head. "The pleasure is ours, High Counselor. We've long hoped for this day, to meet other intelligent life, to share knowledge and culture." As the initial pleasantries were exchanged, tension in the room began to ease. The humans were articulate, curious, and seemed genuinely interested in learning about the various council races. They shared information about Earth, its history, and humanity's journey to the stars. However, as the conversation turned to more substantive matters, cracks began to show. "Admiral," Ambassador Krell interjected, his scaled brow furrowed, "you speak of peace and cooperation, yet you arrive in our space with a warship of unprecedented power. How do you expect us to trust your intentions?" Steele's expression hardened slightly. "Ambassador, as I've explained, the Titan's Fury is a vessel of exploration as much as it is of defense. We've encountered hostile species in our travels. We learned the hard way that being prepared is not the same as being aggressive." Lyra, her energy form pulsing gently, tried to steer the conversation to calmer waters. "Perhaps we could discuss cultural exchange programs, scientific cooperation. Surely there is much we could learn from each other." For a moment, it seemed the meeting might return to a more positive tone. But then, alarms began blaring throughout the station. Commander Vexera's voice came over the intercom, tight with stress. "High Counselor, we're detecting multiple ships dropping out of faster-than-light travel. They're Shetkar warships." The room erupted into chaos. The Shetkar were a notoriously aggressive species that had been at odds with the Council for centuries. Their appearance now, of all times, was disastrous. Krell jumped to his feet, pointing an accusatory finger at Steele. "This is your doing. You led them here." Before they could process her words, the council members found themselves enveloped in a shimmering energy field. In the blink of an eye, they materialized on the bridge of the Titan's Fury. Admiral Steele stood at the center of a bustling command center that looked more advanced than anything the council races had ever developed. "Welcome aboard," she said grimly. "I apologize for the abrupt extraction, but time is of the essence." As the council representatives gaped at their surroundings, Steele turned to her crew. "Status report. Shetkar fleet is in disarray, Admiral," reported Commander Volkov. "Their flagship is disabled, and the remaining ships are retreating. But we have a bigger problem. The Shetkar triggered a quantum destabilization device on the station. It's going to create a rift in space-time that could tear this entire sector apart." The news hit the council members like a physical blow. Such a catastrophe would devastate countless worlds, potentially killing billions. "Can we stop it?" Genva asked, his voice barely a whisper. Steele's expression was grim but determined. "We can try. But it's going to take everything we've got, and we'll need your help." As the Titan's Fury moved into position near the rapidly destabilizing station, humans and council members alike worked feverishly to find a solution. The ship's quantum labs became a melting pot of ideas, with advanced human science merging with the diverse knowledge of the council races. In those desperate hours, old suspicions were set aside. The Aethery's understanding of energy fields complemented human quantum theories. Valaxian engineering principles helped refine the Titan's Fury's power systems for the task ahead. Even the most skeptical council members contributed, driven by the need to save their civilization. With time running out, a plan emerged, risky, unprecedented, but their only hope. The Titan's Fury would use its quantum displacement drive not to move itself, but to teleport the entire station into a contained pocket of subspace, where the destabilization could be safely managed. As the rift began to form, tearing at the fabric of space around them, Admiral Steele gave the order. The Titan's Fury's engines roared to life, channeling more power than they were ever designed to handle. The ship itself began to buckle under the strain. In a blinding flash of energy, the station vanished, and with it, the growing rift. For a moment, there was only silence on the bridge. Then, cheers erupted as sensors confirmed their success. The station was safely contained, the threat neutralized. As the celebration died down, humans and council members looked at each other with new eyes. In the face of destruction, they had come together and achieved the impossible. Admiral Steele turned to High Counselor Genva, extending her hand in a human gesture of friendship. "It seems we have much to learn from each other, High Counselor." Genva, understanding the significance of the moment, reached out with a tentacle to grasp Steele's hand. "Indeed we do, Admiral. Indeed we do." A new era dawns. In the weeks following the Shetkar attack and the quantum rift crisis, the political landscape of the galaxy underwent a seismic shift. The Galactic Council, once confident in its technological and military superiority, found itself grappling with the reality of humanity's advanced capabilities. Emergency sessions were called, debates raged, and ultimately, a decision was reached. Humanity would be offered membership in the Galactic Council. The Grand Chamber of the Council headquarters on the neutral world of Harmonex was packed to capacity. Representatives from every council race were in attendance, along with a delegation from Earth led by Admiral Steele. High Counselor Genva called the session to order, his tentacles moving in the formal patterns of council protocol. "Esteemed colleagues, honored guests, we are gathered here today to witness a historic moment. The addition of a new member to the Galactic Council is always a momentous occasion. But today's proceedings are unprecedented in our long history." He turned to face the human delegation. Humanity has demonstrated not only remarkable technological advancement, but also a willingness to use that power in defense of others, even those who initially regarded them with suspicion. Their actions during the Shetkar crisis saved countless lives and preserved the stability of our galactic community. Ambassador Krell, his earlier hostility replaced by a grudging respect, spoke next. "While I initially advocated for caution in our dealings with humanity, I must acknowledge their invaluable contribution. The Titan's fury single-handedly repelled a Shetkar invasion force that would have overwhelmed our defenses. We would be fools not to recognize the potential benefits of close cooperation with Earth." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber. Even those races that had been most wary of humanity's sudden appearance could not deny the truth of Krell's words. Ambassador Lyra, her energy form pulsing with enthusiasm, added her voice to the discussion. "Moreover, our brief collaboration during the crisis has already yielded remarkable scientific insights. The combination of human quantum theory with ethereal energy manipulation techniques promises to revolutionize our understanding of the universe. Imagine what we could achieve with sustained cooperation." As the council members voiced their support, Admiral Steele stepped forward to address the assembly. "Esteemed representatives of the Galactic Council, on behalf of humanity and the Earth Alliance, I thank you for this generous offer. We came to the stars seeking new frontiers, new knowledge, and new friendships. The events of recent weeks have shown us that we have much to learn from you, just as we have something to offer in return." She paused, her expression serious. "However, we must be clear about our position. Humanity will gladly join the Galactic Council as equals, ready to contribute our strengths and learn from yours. But we will not subordinate ourselves or compromise on our principles. Our ship, the Titan's Fury, and others like it will remain under Earth's control, serving as a deterrent against those who would threaten the peace we all desire." A tense silence fell over the chamber. Steele's words were both a promise of cooperation and a subtle reminder of humanity's power. After a moment, Genva spoke. "Your terms are acceptable, Admiral. The Council recognizes Earth's right to maintain its independence while participating fully in our shared governance." With those words, the vote was called. One by one, the Council races registered their approval. As the final tally was displayed, cheers erupted throughout the chamber. Humanity was officially welcomed into the Galactic Council. In the days that followed, the implications of this decision rippled across the galaxy. News of humanity's advanced technology spread, causing excitement and trepidation in equal measure. Set car incursions along the borders of Council space dropped dramatically as word of the Titan's Fury's capabilities became known. On countless worlds, beings looked to the stars with a renewed sense of wonder and possibility. The arrival of humanity had shaken the Galactic Council out of its complacency, igniting a new era of scientific and cultural exchange. Aboard the Titan's Fury, now in orbit around Harmonex, Admiral Steele stood at the viewport, gazing out at the glittering cityscape below. Commander Volkov joined her, a datapad in hand. "It's done, Admiral," he reported. "The technology exchange protocols have been finalized. We'll be sharing our advancements in quantum physics and energy systems. In return, we're gaining access to the Council's database of known species and star charts of unexplored regions." Steele nodded, a small smile playing on her lips. "A fair exchange. This is just the beginning, Alexei. We've opened a door to a future bigger and brighter than we ever imagined." "And if we encounter other threats out there?" Volkov asked. "Beings even more advanced or aggressive than the Shetkar?" Steele's expression hardened with determination. "Then we'll face them together, humanity and our new allies. We didn't come this far to turn back now. The galaxy is vast, full of wonders and dangers alike. But together, we're ready for whatever comes next." As the Titan's Fury prepared for its next mission, now under the banner of both Earth and the Galactic Council, a new chapter in the history of the galaxy began. Humanity had found its place among the stars, not through conquest or subjugation, but through courage, ingenuity, and an outstretched hand of friendship. The cosmic dance continued, but now with a new partner, one that promised to lead it in directions never before imagined.